There are two different ways that we can do a burpee. There's the strict version and there's the kipping version. So with the strict version, it's very good for creating a lot of local muscle fatigue, which will improve your upper body strength endurance. But you can't cycle through too many at a time because you're going to create that local muscle fatigue and you're going to need to stop. And you can't cycle through them very quickly either because it is a strict, slower version. Now the kipping version, that allows you to cycle through a lot quicker because you're being a lot more efficient with the movement. So you're going to have a higher conditioning effect, and it is more related to the real life situation where you're going to be getting down onto the ground and back up. You want to be as efficient as possible, especially in the tactile environment when you're most probably going to be loaded up with gear and you're not going to be getting down and doing a strict push-up. You just want to get down and back up as quick as possible so you can get to the next cover or whatever it is that you are doing. All right, I'll just run you through the two and then we'll dive into the kipping burpee and we will go over that in more detail. So with the strict burpee, you'll see I'll do the burpee and I'll do the strict push-up. Okay, you can see it's pretty slow. We're doing a strict push-up, so it's going to create a lot of local muscle fatigue. Now with the kipping version, I'll just show you what it looks like. You can see it's a lot more explosive, a lot more efficient, so I'll be able to cycle through a lot more in a shorter period. So to do the kipping burpee, the way that we do it is the very first thing is when we go down to place our hands on the ground, our feet are shooting back as our hands are getting placed onto the ground. So we're not placing our hands on the ground and then shooting our feet back. Our feet are shooting back and we're landing with our hands on the ground. Okay, from there, instead of like controlling ourselves slowly down into a push-up position and going back up, we're just going to lower ourselves under control but quickly down to the ground until our whole body is just laying down onto the ground. Okay, from there, now we're going to use the power. It's called the stretch reflex action. We're going to load up the front portion of our body, so our abdominals, our hip flexors. We're going to stretch them so that it gives us some power to keep our hips back and drive up back onto our feet. So I'll show you an exaggerated version of this and then I'll show you the unexaggerated. Okay, that's me exaggerating the movement, but what you want to do is just keep that tension so that you don't have to load up that much. Keep the tension in the front part of your body so that when you do just press up that little bit, you'll feel more pressure on your knees than on your feet. And when you load it up, you want to be stretching this front part of your body. Use that power to flick your hips back and your feet, your hands are going to come off the ground and your feet are going to land on the ground without your hands being there. Okay, the same as when we're kicking back, only one part of our body, whether our hands or our feet, are on the ground at the one time, rather than having them both on the ground at the same time. So let's just go through that whole thing. So we want to kick our feet back, and as our feet have kicked back, our hands are going to land on the ground, and we're going to lower ourselves fast but under control all the way down to the ground. So we're not loading up and creating a lot of tension. We're going to be on the ground with our whole body on the ground. Then we are going to load up the front part of our body, our hip flexors and our abs. We're going to load them up and use that stretch reflex action to pop the hips back. We're going to be driving off the knees and the feet at the same time to do that. Okay, our hips are going to pop back, hands are going to come off the ground, and feet are going to land onto the ground. And to finish the burpee, you just want to place your hands up above your head. Alright guys, that is how to do the kipping burpee.